I'm trying to share some evidence-based practices, information, and questions to help to improve your mental well-being and to help yourself to grow. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications, because every day, every week, I share genuine life changing content on psychology and personal development. Today, I want to ask you a very interesting question. Who are you? The first thing that probably came to mind is that your name, your profession, maybe you are saying about your job, that you are a student, that you are mother, engineer, father, failure, shy, or you are anxious. But here's what I really want to ask. Are those things really actually define you, or are they just stories that have been created about you? Maybe these are stories that you heard about yourself in the past, or uh, when people were constantly criticizing you, or your environment has shaped some perceptions about you. Because today's topic answers exactly that question. One of deepest processes in ACT therapy is called as self as context. And by the end of this video, you will learn what self as context is and what it matters so deeply, and you will learn the difference between conceptualized self and observing self, and how to transform your relationship with yourself. And you will also learn some powerful exercises that you can start using from today. So what's conceptualized self? In ACT therapy, there are two fundamental concepts related to self, and one of them is conceptualized self, and it means that stories you create about yourself, the sum of thoughts, emotions, memories, beliefs, and roles that have formed your identity. For instance, maybe you think about yourself that you are an anxious person, you are a failure, that you are shy, that you always end up disappointed, and these are all conceptualized self. And notice this, most of these stories were told to you by others, maybe when you were a child, maybe during your teen years, maybe by your family, by your teachers, your friends, or these are conclusions that drew from difficult experiences. And you're always like this kind of work isn't for you, that you are too sensitive. And over time, these sentences become as an identity inside us, because as your mind continues to tell the same stories over and over again, at some point you stop realizing that they start to impact your emotions, your behavior. Maybe you stop taking risks, starting anything new, learning anything new, and you start to see yourself from your thoughts, or actually other people's thoughts and perceptions about you. And the problem is we believe these stories so deeply that we treat them as truths, and as those stories shape our lives, they start to draw our limits, they influence our decisions, and they even might impact our relationships negatively. And the second concept is self as context, and this is a tremendously powerful idea. Self as context says you are not the sum of these stories, you are not your thoughts, you are not your feelings about yourself. You are the awareness that is noticing these feelings, these thoughts, and who can notice, for instance, different versions of you, such as a mother, a grandfather, a daughter, student, a colleague, an anxious person, happy person, versions of you. And you are this awareness who can see, who notice it, and who can choose to, which one you would like to show up more often. And you are the one who is experiences these stories. And there is something that notices your thoughts. There is something that watches your emotions, and there is something that remembers your memories, and that is your essence, yourself as context. And this essence never changed. You were, when you were a child, when you were a teenager, you were you in your hardest moments, and you were you on your happiest days. So much change, but the thing that has stayed stable, the that very version of you who is noticing, observing, and becoming aware, is has always stayed the same, and that is your self as context. And think of it that way. For instance, the sky and the weather constantly changes. Sometimes it's sunny, sometimes it's stormy, sometimes it's snowy, Sometimes it's rainy, but the sky it's always there. It's not changing, and you are in a sense as a sky. You hold space for your feelings. You hold space for different versions of you. You are the one who is noticing these thoughts, and thoughts, emotions, stories. People come and go. They change. The weather changes, but you stay the same. You hold space for all these things to happen. So why does this distinction matter so much? Why is it important? When you live from the conceptualized self, every negative thought starts to shake you and influence you, oftentimes in a negative manner. And every failure threatens your identity. You start to criticize yourself, to blame yourself, and you might be getting stuck more often, and it's more difficult to take action because those stories become you and they influence you deeply. But when you live from self as context, a negative thought might come, you might notice it, and it will be easier for you to take action according to what's important for you, and to create more meaning, to have more richer life full of meaning. And your experience failure, you notice it, and you start to see it as a step that can be used in order to grow, to develop yourself, to learn new skills. For instance, when criticism arrives, you hear it, you notice it, you think, what can I get out of it, how can I improve, and what I can learn from it, and then you take the next action towards your meaning, towards what's important for you. And none of it starts to define you, because you are the one who is observing this. And at the choice point, when you are able to notice your thoughts and feelings, it will be easier for you to take steps towards what matters, towards your values, and to be more active in life. And for instance, I noticed that there are certain people who are experiencing a lot of challenges in their lives. There are a lot of people who came to Canada because of earthquakes. They lost their houses, they lost their kids, their relatives. However, some of them, they are continuing to live, to try new things they are learning, and some of them are feeling more stuck. So the difference probably between the people, like why this is happening, is that some of people are able to accept their feelings, accept what has happened, and they are becoming more psychologically flexible and can take more action. Whereas when people are not able to understand their feelings, what are they are experiencing, what are their thoughts, it takes longer for the person to heal. And being able to understand feelings, thoughts, and to notice your experiences, and to notice that you are being that awareness, is increasing psychological freedom, and this is freedom that can be learned. So what does the science say? The concept of self as context has deep roots in both modern psychology and ancient psychology. From a neuroscience perspective, self-awareness is our capacity to observe ourselves from outside, is associated with the medial prefrontal cortex, and this capacity is a skill that can be developed. In the same manner, for instance, as you go to gym, your muscles are being developed, and it gets easier to do certain exercises. So this is also a skill that can be developed and increased and enhanced by using it more. And ACT research shows that individuals who develop the self as context perspective display higher psychological flexibility and lower symptoms of depression, anxiety, and stronger emotional resilience. And comprehensive meta-analysis published in 2020 found that ACT interventions, including self as context component, produced significant improvements, especially in chronic pain, anxiety, and depression. So being able to notice yourself and to notice your thoughts, and to have more psychological flexibility actually decreases depression, anxiety, chronic pain, and makes it easier for the person to take action, to be active in the face of difficulties and challenges. And this idea is actually very ancient. Different cultures have expressed it in various ways, but the essence, the core idea, always stays the same. For instance, according to Buddhist philosophy, anatta, the teaching of non-self, like there is no fixed, unchanging self, and Experiences come and go, but the observing awareness remains. So this was one of most ancient ideas that has roots in today's mindfulness meditation. And according to Stoic philosophy, Epictetus, for instance, said, "It's not what happens to us, but our reaction to what happens to us that hurts us." And this is exactly the self as context perspective, being able to notice your experiences, your uh, difficulties that you had, to take perspective from outside, and this actually ability to step back and to be able to become aware of your thoughts, of feelings, and your relationship with experiences is what creates change and healing and relief, and to be able to construct a new meaning from your experiences. For instance, there can be two people who have experienced the same stories, but as we have mentioned, which meaning we have out of it, how do we see it, how do we perceive it, the meaning that we create from our experiences oftentimes creates more pain, and being able to change the relationship with it and creates more psychological flexibility and ability to take action in the face of challenges. For instance, modern psychologists from William James to Carl Rogers, from Viktor Frankl to Stephen Hayes, they all gave the core idea, they all gave different names to this observing self, but they were talking about the same thing. So for thousands of years, humans have asked the same question: who am I really? And ACT offers an answer that is philosophical, scientific, and practical all at once. One of most powerful stories illustrating self as context belongs to Viktor Frankl. Frankl was a psychiatrist who survived Nazi concentration camps, and he lost everything: his freedom, his family, everything that he has possessed, and he spent years in prison. But he noticed this. The people who were around him, who had meaning and purpose, were able to overcome these challenges easier, and they stayed more healthier. And uh, in his teachings, he says that a human being can lose everything, but one thing that he can never lose is the freedom to choose one's own responses. Like in his case, maybe he wasn't able to get out of prison, maybe he wasn't able to express his philosophies, his opinion at that time, and maybe he wasn't able to choose what he's gonna do during the day. He was forced to work in concentration camp, but what he could choose is his relationship to what was happening, and that was a choice, a time of freedom for him. Like he still possessed the freedom to change the thoughts and relationship towards what was happening internally and externally. And that space is where self as context lived, and this has carried him towards better days afterward, when he could freely express his emotions, contribute to his community, and how he stayed alive. So now we came to the part of exercises. The first one is called the chessboard metaphor. And imagine, for instance, on a chessboard there are white and black pieces. The white pieces are positive thoughts, and the black ones are the negative ones. And what do we most of us do is that we fight for the white pieces to win. We try to eliminate black ones. We try not to think negatively. We try sometimes to suppress negative thoughts and feelings. However, the paradox is that as you try not to think about certain things, or if you are trying to suppress certain feelings or thoughts, they come back with a stronger power, and they might be influencing you even more. And this battle can be exhausting you. But you are not just white parts of the chessboard, and you are not just black ones. Uh, you are the one who holds all pieces. You are the space, you are the chessboard, and you are the one who carries all these pieces. And when you make room for all of them, they stop influencing you so considerably as they used to. Therefore, when you are making room for all of them, this identifies with none of them, and uh, you start just to hold the space for them to notice that these are just some positive and negative thoughts, white and black pieces that come and go, and we cannot all the time control what's happening. Or imagine that you are a stage, and there are certain people in the theater who are coming and going. There are different experiences, emotions, thoughts that are changing, seasons that are changing, and you are the one who is noticing this all. You are the one who is holding the space for all of them. So white pieces come and do this black ones, but the pieces move, but the board always there, unchanged, and it's solid. So at times, for instance, if you will have very strong feelings, you can remind yourself about this, that sometimes maybe it seems that you can't hold these feelings anymore, that they are too strong, they are disturbing you, you can't handle this anymore. And you can remind yourself that you are the sky, you are the chessboard, you still have enough space for all the feelings, and they are not going to last forever, since they are coming and going like the weather. This week, when a difficult emotion or thought arrives, you can say this to yourself: I'm not one of these pieces, I am the boat, I'm not my feelings, I'm not the thoughts. And notice how it feels. You can also share your experiences in the comments, we can discuss it further. And the next exercise is observing self meditation. This exercise lets you directly experience self as context. Uh, for instance, you can close your eyes, take a deep breath, and try to notice your thoughts that come to your mind. Notice your thoughts and ask, who is noticing this thought? You are feeling an emotion right now. Maybe it's excitement, maybe it's curiosity, maybe it's exhaustion, tiredness. Notice it and ask, who is feeling this emotion? There's a sensation in your body right now, maybe your breath, your heartbeat. Notice it and ask, who is noticing this? And that one who notices, that's you, not your thoughts, not your emotions, not your stories, the awareness that absorbs them. And you were observing it when you were a child, you were observing it when you were a teen, and you are observing it now. And you are the person who holds space for all those feelings, thoughts, sensations, and memories. Take a breath and open your eyes. That is yourself as context. You can write in comments how did that feel, and you can repeat this exercise throughout the day at times when you feel exhausted, stressed, and this might help you to relax and to notice that you are not your feelings, you are not your thoughts, and that you don't have to fight with these feelings and thoughts. This exercise requires a bit of pen and paper, and it's very transformative. You can write down the stories you use to define yourself. For instance, uh, what thoughts you have about yourself. Maybe that you are shy, you are a failure, that you're not loved, that you have always been this way, that you have always made mistakes, any negative or positive things also you might be telling to yourself. Then ask, and now next to each story, write this: is this a truth or is this a story? And from which lens are you seeing these thoughts, and how are they impacting you? Are you being controlled by these thoughts and feelings? And ask, who wrote this story? When did it begin? What does this story give me, and what does it cost me? Most often we realize that those stories don't belong to us. Someone else, it can be someone else's words, or old experiences, or repeated criticism, and over time they become your identity. And now you also realize that those stories are not us, we are the ones who wrote them, and we can rewrite them again. And the most important thing, you can always change relationship towards your thoughts and feelings. This week, write your three most powerful negative stories, and next to each other add, this is a story. I'm the one who is observing this story, and try it and write in the comments. And you can also note which version of you do you want to be. Maybe it's a disciplined version, a hopeful version, a hardworking version, a successful version. You can also try to remember when you have seen these versions of you more often in the past, and what helped you to become that version. Where did you see them more often, and what contributed for them to show up more often? What did you do in order for this to happen? Which strategies, which qualities, which environments helped you? Which relationships supported you, or which activities made that more possible to happen? And you can find your resources and resilience and qualities that you can use again in order for this version of you to show up more often. And the last exercise one is called time travel. Again, close your eyes and take a deep breath and imagine yourself at age 5. See that little child. What did they look like? What were they thinking? What were they feeling? Now imagine yourself at 15, a teenager, complex, searching, finding their way. Now the you of today, sitting here right now and noticing internal experiences that you are experiencing right now. Now imagine yourself at 80, experienced, wise, fully lived one. Now notice this. You were present at all these ages. So much has changed. Your body, your thoughts, your emotions, your beliefs. But something that notices, that lives, that experiences, and that always stayed the same. That is you. That is your self as context and your essence that doesn't change through time. Now take a deep breath, open your eyes, and try to answer how was this? And was there anything that you would like to tell to your current self from 80 years old version of you? Which suggestions would you like to tell to yourself? Is there anything you would like to say, to do more often, or to try to be more curious, courageous, or active, or patient? Sometimes changing perspective can help create a lot of relief. And understanding self as context is important. Bringing it into daily life is also where the real power and change happens. First of all, when you are going through a hard moment, pause and say, I'm experiencing this emotion, but I'm not this emotion. When a negative thought arrives, you can ask, who is noticing this thought? And feel that you are the one who is noticing it. When you are telling a story about yourself, and when you notice it, ask, is this a truth or a story, and do I have the power to change this story? As you develop self as context, something beautiful happens. You become more compassionate towards yourself, because now every failure doesn't mean that you are a failure. It simply becomes, I had a failing experience, and every mistake doesn't shake your identity. It simply becomes, I made a mistake. And this distinction is the place that changes everything. This changes your relationship towards experiences that you had, and it creates more opportunity for you to change and to bring versions of you that you want to see more often, to achieve the change that you want to see. So today we went on a very deep journey together. Let's summarize it quickly. First of all, we answered what is conceptualized self, the stories that created about you, your thoughts, emotions, roles, beliefs. And we spoke about self as context, the awareness that notices, observes, and experiences all of this, and your unchanging essence. And we learned 4 exercises: the chessboard metaphor, observing self meditation, and reviewing your story, and time travel. And now I want you to tell this, that you are not the sum of your thoughts. You are not the sum of your past. You are not the sum of your stories told about you. You are the awareness that notices, lives, and chooses all of this. And that awareness is free. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, to like, and to open notifications. Because we will continue to discuss here about different concepts in ACT and how you can integrate it into your daily life, and we will continue to share these thoughts, principles, and questions you can ask for personal growth. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave them in the comments, and take good care of yourself. See you in the next videos.